customers at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com receive $25 in WagerBucks after your first initial purchase. All you have to do is sign up, make your purchase, and you'll get $25 in credit.
We're live. Welcome to WagerTalk Today, everybody. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Teddy Covers. Kelly Stewart right off the top. Baylor versus Hartford, minus 26.5. Wow. Purdue, North Texas, and a Saturday game, LSU versus St Bonaventure. Arthur DiCesare after that. Teddy's big game breakdown. I'm going to go top to bottom in the penalty box segment, but Teddy, I got one question for you, and it's not how are you, it's have you been betting my penalty box plays?
No, I haven't.
Why? Gold, freaking gold, rhodium, gold wrapped in rhodium, with a side of Bitcoin, a little bit of Ethereum, and a whole lot of GameStop about 4 weeks ago. That's my penalty box segment plays, bro.
Congrats. Nice run. I give you nothing but credit. And
you're
hockey's
so
your
kind.
gig, man.
I'm rolling in NBA too, Teddy. Getting help. I speak to a lot of people for my NBA plays, and won again last night on a nail biter as Houston lost their 17th. Had Atlanta. I had a 3-0 night, brother. How did you do?
I had an 0-2 night. I'll trade you.
No. But sorry I asked.
We're honest when we win. We're honest when we lose. Last night was no fun for me or my clients. Unfortunately, the good news is that we start today 0-0 again.
Yeah, and we spoke about that yesterday. I just want to make quick mention, guys. We pushed Matt Fargo's NHL play yesterday, 5% in over at Sports Memo, $2 Tuesday. He won it. And Rob Vino, his 5% play on $2 Tuesday as a college basketball play, so it hasn't gone off yet. We have decided to keep it up at $2, so you guys can still get Rob Vino's 5% play for $2. Teddy, St. Paddy's Day, we have an Irishman with us over at WagerTalk.com, Kevin Dolan. We have had him on the show. He does come with subtitles. But Teddy, we have a promo up for him, only for him. Although I'm sure some of us could trace our roots to Ireland as well. Use the promo code PADDY50, 50% off a 30-day package. PADDY50, 50% off a 30-day package, and luck 777 gets you a monster price on his entire year of plays, and Kevin is so freaking good, minus the fact that you can't understand him when he talks.
Well, if you understand an Irish accent, you can understand him just fine when he talks. The irony, of course, about St. Paddy's Day is that St. Paddy's Day is a holiday for expats, not so much a holiday within Ireland, but a holiday for people in the diaspora of the world. As the Irish get their own holiday here in the States. But in Ireland, you go to St. Paddy's Day, they're like, yeah, it's just another day. Elsewhere, it's a whole lot of fun. Hopefully you guys are having fun on St. Paddy's Day today.
Yep, I'm with you on that. And I understand it, Teddy, because every day in Ireland is a St. Paddy's Day. What happened in sports betting last night?
Sure, let's do a little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A recap of the sports betting world from last night. And look, NBA's on center stage right now. Baseball. Well, I do have a baseball that I'm going to talk about. But right now, with nothing going on in college hoops the last couple of nights, the focus has been on the association. Mark Richmond, at Mark P. Richmond on Twitter, sent me a tweet on this one. And there were two teams last night that gave up 40 in the fourth. Wasn't fun if you had either of those squads. But the Pelicans money line. Now, New Orleans was plus 1.5 and plus 2, and they closed the closing number. But a lot of times in that range, You take the money line and not the points. And New Orleans led the whole game. They're up 14 at the half. They're up 13 going to the fourth. They're up 17 with less than 6 to play. And the Blazers make their run, but the Pels are still up 3, and the Blazers have to foul with 7 seconds left. New Orleans is going to win this game. We've seen enough NBA. But then Brandon Ingram misses 2 free throws. Lillard gets fouled, hits 2. It's still a 1-point game in favor of New Orleans. And then the Pelicans turn the ball over. Lillard fouled again, hits both free throws. The Blazers absolutely steal that game in the final 10 seconds to win by 1. No cover, no money line for New Orleans backers. Yeah, I don't know if it's a bad beat, but it's definitely worth talking about. And this one wasn't a bad beat. It was a tough beat. The Celtics gave up 40 in the fourth. It was a 3-point game with just over a minute to go. 8-point final margin, not a good final minute for Boston. That's the NBA. A couple of bad bets worth talking about. Look, somebody's betting the Rockets again. They bet the Rockets again last night. They were plus 10s, bet down to 8.5. The Hawks beat them by a dozen. The total, bad for the books, lands right in the middle. Opened as low as 224. Opened as high as 226.5. Closes right in the 235.5 range, lands 236. So if you bet the total correctly in that game, it was a bad result for the house. A couple more bad bets to talk about. The T-Wolves, plus 9 down to plus 7.5 in LA. They hung around for a while, but the fourth quarter wasn't pretty. Minnesota lost by 16. And how about the Knicks Sixers total? No Embiid, Knicks point guard problems, yet they bet it up 216 to 219. Well, neither team got to 100. The under cash there, bad bet, all that over money. And just for fun, I had to put the one spring training baseball in because there was a steam move on the Royals. They got bet up from minus 130 to minus 160 against the Mariners. And then they lost the game 13-0. Don't chase steam in spring training. Bad for the books. Look, the Heat opened the fourth quarter 2 of 14 shooting. They were minus 11.5 against the Cavs at the close, minus 10 at the open. They still won by 15. Kendrick Nunn hit the 3 that counted. The total snuck over snuck over as well. 206.5 is a little bit too low for the NBA this year. Nonetheless, Miami's winning cover. Not good for the house. And the Chicago Bulls bet up from minus 4.5 to minus 7.5. The Thunder were sitting Thornton, Bazley, and Horford. And they played like they were sitting Thornton, Bazley, and Horford. The Bulls won that game by 21. Not a good result for the house in that contest, Prez. So there you have it. A little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. Back to you.
Thanks, my friend. As we said, guys, Kelly Stewart joining us. We're going to talk college hoops. March Madness starts tomorrow. I'm excited. It's going to be a day on the couch, minus the fact that my youngest brother's birthday is tomorrow. What, Teddy?
No, the games don't start till tomorrow night. Tomorrow's not. So remember, the normal NCAA tournament, full day Thursday, full day Friday, then Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
Tomorrow's the play-in game. So if you're planning on sitting in the sports book all day, there's going to be nothing going on until tomorrow night. But the play-in game's tomorrow, and then the first 4 days are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The good news, of course, that we'll have a loaded Monday card to talk about when we come back over the week.
Awesome stuff. Kelly Stewart, welcome to WagerTalk Today. And we can't thank you enough every Wednesday for the last few weeks, and hopefully for the next few weeks. You take time out of what is probably the busiest day out of anybody to join us. Thanks, Kel.
You're welcome, Prez. Yeah, just the next few weeks. Listen, you guys don't want me to drag out baseball season here. Like, there's not going to be much to talk about. Hockey, I haven't even watched a game this year. Look, this NBA gig has really taken over some of my other sports viewing. So I would be not a big attribute to the show unless you want to come on and talk Bitcoin or we make fun of Teddy or something.
Well, I always want to talk Bitcoin, Kel, and we had a substantial drop over the last 5 or 6 days. And the interesting thing about that is everyone's talking, oh, it'll bounce back. Oh, it'll bounce back. Guys, it's at like, I only know Canadian dollars, but it's at about 69 Canadian dollars. We don't need it to bounce back. All it did was have a moment up in the high 70s. Now, if 70,000 Canadian is the baseline, you just want to
say
Bitcoin,
69 over and over and over again. All right, Prez, let's get to some March Madness.
No, Kel, I've gone through the 69 thing on this show. For the record, I quoted Tom Segura. I gave his 69 story. There is nothing stupider than a 69. I have no desire to pleasure someone else while I'm being pleasured. You go first, I'll go next. So no, I am not. You're the one. You are the one with your mind in the gutter.
What did I just
Kelly.
do? What did I just do? I'm so
started
sorry.
this.
This is what you did, Kelly.
Yeah.
You agreed to come on the show.
Let's go.
Baylor. That's what you did.
Baylor, Hartford. Kel minus 26, 26.5. Should we take Hartford on the money line?
No, you should not. Look, this is not going to be some 16 seed upset, but I'm curious to see what Teddy thinks. I'm looking at the numbers going, wait, this should be maybe 22, 23 at the most. If you want to give some credit to Baylor, but I'm actually going to do the opposite. I thought Baylor looked really lackluster during the Big 12 tournament, particularly against my Kansas State Wildcats as 20-point favorites. And then I had Oklahoma State. They were lucky enough to cash on the money line, but lucky, more like they just played their tails off for the entire game. And Baylor seemed very disinterested. Maybe they were looking ahead to this tournament, but I do think that Baylor's already got their next opponent circled, whether that be Wisconsin or North Carolina. So I don't see this Baylor team really getting that hyped here for a Hartford squad. Watch this game land 23-24, and everybody that laid 26 losing their minds. I wish I had something great to say about the Hartford Hawks. I really don't, other than the fact that their offense is really lackluster. They're going to control the pace. They have one of the worst average possession links in the country, and hopefully that kind of takes Baylor out of the rhythm. But outside of a basketball perspective, I don't have much to say great about them other than this is too many points.
So in general, with the big favorites, particularly in round number one, Kel, I'm much more inclined to lay a first half price than a full game price because of what you said. You know, you get a 20-point lead in the second half, you're up 25, and all of a sudden, sometimes the attention span starts to wane and you start looking forward to your facing in the next round. If our viewing audience is interested in the Baylor side of the equation, would you look at a first half Baylor play, or do you think the Bears are just stay away from right now, a bet against team and not a team primed to cover first half numbers or full game numbers in the NCAA tournament?
You know, I wish I used to have some beat writers that were friends of mine in Waco, and I wish they were still there so I could get this great information to kind of see where the locker room was at, Teddy. Because I had the same conversation in regards to the Oklahoma State game and the Kansas State game in the Big 12 tournament. And I said, you know, this just is a Baylor team that just is kind of not getting out of their own way. They made a ton of mistakes over basically the last few games. And I don't know if that, again, is an intention thing or if it's more so they are just not as cohesive because they did miss so many games due to COVID. I kind of thought that would be an advantage to teams that kind of got that out of the way early, but now it's looking more like it's a disadvantage. So I'm going to say I'm not touching the first half of this game. I'm not rushing to bet the Hartford Hawks first half. If you do like Baylor, the first half would make a lot more sense, though.
Kelly Stewart joining us, everybody. Kel, Purdue minus 7.5 versus North Texas. 126.5 is the total. We dogging it in this game?
We're always dogging it, Prez. I feel like I can't ever make a case for the favorites these days. But in all jokes aside, I think I bet one favorite so far in the NCAA tournament. Look, this is a really good North Texas defense here. And I think that this Purdue team kind of showed us this last couple of weeks, maybe they're just not quite the powerhouse. Look, they finished out the regular season strong, but Ohio State, that was a great bet by me and several other people that I'm friends with. We talked about it. We said, hey, listen, who cares more right now? This Purdue team should be a lot better coached by Matt Painter. But in that Buckeyes loss, I just didn't see it. Now we're talking, again, motivation. This is a Purdue team. This season, North Texas team. I thought that the 7.5 looked really, really fishy. I know Purdue's got a great defense as well, but I really like this Mean Green team. I think that they're going to step up, and I think that Purdue could possibly be on upset alert for the first round.
Do you worry at all, Kelly, about the teams that essentially went all in last weekend, like North Texas, an impressive run to earn their bid into the tournament, but they certainly left it all on the floor last weekend? Do you worry about them and their ability now to step up in class off a pretty what's the word I'm looking for? I told you I'm tired today. The words aren't flying off expending a ton of energy last week.
I think that you can use it both ways, Teddy. I think you could say the flip side and just say, hey, look, they're going to carry that momentum into the tournament. But yes, it's always a concern when a team gave all they had, like you said, left it on the court. And I think that that's going to be the case that I make here for the next team. I'm going to say that that's why I'm betting against them. It's something to consider here with this Purdue team, but the math is the math. It says the game should be 6-7. We'll see where it lands. Hopefully with that 7 in the hook, we can get it done.
The math is the math. The quote of the show so far. LSU against St Bonaventure. LSU -1.5. We're going to have Ralph Michaels on the show tomorrow, Teddy. And actually, I'm going to call him after the show, and we're going to discuss that. Do you bet that -1.5 on the money line, or do you take the points? But Kelly, where are you going in this one?
Yeah, Teddy mentioned leaving it all on the floor. This LSU team was amazing for me during the SEC tournament. I was sad they couldn't get that last W, but boy, did they leave it all on the floor. And now they're getting not very much love from the bookmakers. I know St. Bonnie's is the team that won the A-10 tournament. They've covered 6 of their last 7. But I really just kind of think that everybody's looking at this LSU team who, in my opinion, really overachieved. I think you can make a case for their offense, and that's great. But everybody knows my favorite adage is take the better defense plus the points. And the better defense here is St. Bonnie's. I actually think the wrong team is favored. I made St. Bonnie's -1.5. So look, I got a lot of hate for this pick. I gave out on Bleacher Report the other day. Everybody said, hey, Kelly, LSU is going to be super easy. And then somebody else tagged me in one that said that over 89% of the bets over at FanDuel was on LSU. And I'm like, okay, that makes me feel even better. This was the one I gave out on my best bet yesterday on Bet On It. So in case you missed that show, I really love this play. I actually am kind of nervous by how much I love it.
Well, I mean, St. Bonnie's along with Loyola Chicago are the two mid-majors that have these really impressive statistical profiles. And when you look at this handicap, are you looking more of a fade of LSU because they kind of went all in last weekend? Or are you saying this Bonnie squad is capable of winning maybe not just one game, maybe more than one?
I think that they are capable of winning more than one, Teddy, but you're right. When you brought up North Texas leaving it all on the court, that's exactly what this is. This is more of a play against LSU. And again, no disrespect to what they were able to do in the SEC tournament. I just think that they really started to overachieve there to finish out the season. And I wasn't that high on them going to the SEC tournament. I took a flyer with them against Mississippi. Then they got it done as an underdog versus Arkansas. And then took it to the wire with a really good Alabama squad that I happen to have in the Final Four. And I think that at that point, I've given them too much credit here. So know that I was high on LSU when I handicapped this game. But I think this St. Bonnie's team is kind of just one of those teams where nobody can name a player, not us, obviously, but like the general public. If I walked up to somebody on the street, I'm like, oh, you're a college basketball fan? And they said, yeah. I go, okay, cool. Tell me the starting 5 for St. Bonnie's. Tell me the head coach for St. Bonnie's. This is one of those teams where you mentioned when you have those smaller schools, no one's paying attention to until all of a sudden they're in the Elite 8 or the Final Four like Loyola Chicago was a couple of years ago.
Kel, from a global perspective, DraftKings is interesting because it's a book that garners a lot of favorite bets, favorites and overs. It's very heavy. From a global perspective, LSU, 65% of all tickets written are on LSU. So not as bad as 85, but it makes sense that DraftKings is so top heavy on favorites and overs. Kel, awesome stuff. What do you have to promote? Tell us your schedule. Where can people see you, hear you, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, we did the Bet On It show a day early yesterday. Unfortunately, VR, Yanni Corrales, was doing some stuff for the UFC this week with all of their upcoming events. So we had a special guest, Ralph Michaels, who is on the show, but he normally just does the TNA. he was kind of like your two dynamic. He gave Marco a little rousing, couple gut punches. It was fun. We really enjoyed it. Talked a lot of college basketball. So that is up right now on our YouTube channel. And then the rest of the week, just doing some stuff for Bleacher Report. And I have a bunch of friends in town. I'm excited. Friday, I will be at the Westgate all day long. Yes, starting at like 8:30 in the morning till probably 9 o'clock at night. And it's going to be really fun and hopefully really profitable.
There you go, everybody, especially Elliot. Kelly has told you where she will be and has given all of you enough time to get on an airplane and prepare to meet her. Westgate, all day, all night, Friday. It's only Wednesday. Book your tickets. Kel, will there be those number taking machines? You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like,
no, there won't.
Like at the deli?
You may get yelled at. You may get yelled at by security because I think our booth already has 2 more people than there is allowed. So you may just have to wave from far away, and I'll come over and say hello. Because that way security doesn't yell at us for not having the appropriate number of people. We'll be there Sunday too. Look, if anybody's in town, I always love meeting people. I always love saying hi to our loyal WagerTalk family. So definitely, I don't know which booth I'll be in, but I don't think I'll be hard to spot.
No. Kelly Stewart, everyone. Kel, thanks so much. Have an outstanding first week in March Madness. I hope every ball bounces in the direction you need.
We need a lot of luck on our side. We know that things can go a little haywire during March Madness. We didn't get March Madness last year, so even if it's not as great, I'm still just going to be happy that we have some college basketball.
God, it's so funny you say that about last year. I feel like that was yesterday. Honestly, it just doesn't feel like a year ago.
That's hilarious because I feel like it's 100 years ago. Like last year, like the tournament didn't exist last year. Like I can't even think about how far back. So much has happened between last year and now. You know.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I just feel like I went to bed and I woke up in this nightmare scenario where all sports were canceled, and then now it's a year later, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I can agree with both of you. It feels like yesterday, and then all of a sudden I feel like I'm 100 years older, at least like right in here.
Kelly Stewart, everyone. Guys, hit that like button. Do it for Kelly, please. Teddy and I need it. It's really important for us to keep moving up the YouTube rankings, so please hit that like button. Tell a friend about us. Hit the bell. Subscribe to our channel. We are closing in on 70,000 subscribers. We can't thank you enough. Kel, take care of yourself. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown, Arthur DiCesare, my penalty box segment, so much more. Give us 20 seconds, everyone.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk national TV for tonight. The Bucks and the 76ers on ESPN. I know it's March Madness week. I understand that. There's only 2 college games for tonight. The one I had no opinion on. The other one I got to play up. So we're talking NBA today. Tomorrow, Friday, Monday, we'll do Big Dance. But I like to give a big game breakdown of a game that's being played that day when possible, as opposed to something down the line. Hence, the focus on NBA the last couple of days. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to give you a winner. Let's see if I can give you one here, for goodness sakes. Milwaukee, -5.5, total 235 at Philadelphia. No Embiid once again for the 76ers. Philly, coming off a hard-fought win last night. They had a 10-man rotation. They weren't hitting, 41% from the floor, and they willed that win. Wasn't easy. They fought for it. But Doc Rivers only had 3 guys play more than 28 minutes. It wasn't a night, even without Embiid, where everybody went balls to the wall for Philadelphia. And the Sixers team that's won, 6 in a row now? The quotes coming out of that 76ers locker room without Embiid, they stand out to me a little bit. Ben Simmons, quote, "We got to hold it down. We got all the pieces to win." Here's a quote from DeJounte Murray, the Spurs guard, talking about Philly's mentality when they blew him out by 35 over the weekend. Quote, "They punched us in the face. They didn't let up." That's the mentality I want for my teams at this time of the year. And Milwaukee, for me, continues to be a relatively simple handicap. Look, last year, the big three, Giannis, Middleton, and Bledsoe, outscored their opponents by more than 18 points per 100 possessions on the floor together. This year's big three is not close. Giannis, Middleton, and Jrue Holiday, not close to matching those numbers. And where is it shown? The Bucks are still blowing out the weak defensive teams. They're still blowing out the bottom teams. But the magic number for Milwaukee all year has been -8. When the Bucks are laying more than 8 on any floor, they've been a great bet and continue to be a good bet. They're blowing out the bad teams. At shorter than -8 or less for Milwaukee, if they're -3 or -5.5 like they are tonight, or they were dogs once or twice, in all games where they're -8 or less this year, they're 4-14 against the spread. Okay, it stands out like a sore thumb when you look at it. Milwaukee is not a team I want to lay 5.5 points with on the road against the number 1 seed in the East. And I know that the Bucks are the number 1 seed in the East, and Philly's got the better record right now, and they're playing without a. I understand all of that. Bucks are not trustworthy in this point spread range. Give me the Sixers plus 5.5, and if you shop around, you can even find +6s as we speak. I think Philadelphia is a live dog this evening. There you have it, Prez. Back to you.
Teddy, the Sixers you shall have. There you go. Guys, I want to say something really quick. Teddy, Carmine Bianco is on a 13-1-1 all sports run in his last 15 games. And the reason I'm pointing that out is for twofold. One, in the month of March, Carmine has made a 90% return on investment for his customers. Literally in the last 17 days, the guy has made 90% return. A lot of it coming in soccer. His soccer is off the charts. Now, one of our amazing viewers put in the chat room, Carm, it's America. Nobody cares about soccer. So let me explain something real quick. This ain't about soccer. WagerTalk Today isn't about sports. Puck Time isn't about hockey. The NBA show isn't about basketball. Everything we do is about one thing and one thing only: money. And if Carmine is winning money, and Americans do love money, then you should be playing Carmine soccer plays. Kevin Dolan puts out rugby plays. He is 62.5% lifetime in rugby plays at WagerTalk. I know America doesn't like rugby. Who cares? They like money. Speaking of money, Arthur DiCesare joining us. And, well, I mean, we pay you what, $5,000 a show?
Hey, Prez, that was a wonderful Gordon Gekko speech. Greed is good, my friend. That was awesome.
Whoa! Yeah, baby!
And
come on,
for what it's
Art,
worth.
admit it. Sorry, Teddy, admit it, Art. People come up to the counter at the...
I'm with you.
What?
I'm with you. This isn't about sports. This is about money, baby.
I mean,
though,
Art,
for what it's worth, the $5,000 a show figure for Art, you got to take the under on that, dude. He's getting less than $5,000 a show.
Yeah, take slight under.
I'm going with the under 5 cents a show. Arthur, in all seriousness, how many times a day does someone come up to your sports book and says, well, Teddy's betting this, Prez is betting this, Carmine's betting this? I mean, you got to hear Wager Talk at least 20 times a day, right? You can say no.
Yeah, listen, I get it a fair amount where people come up to me and they want to talk about Wager Talk, and they go, man, those guys give me winners all the time. And I said, yeah, they're the best at what they do.
Did you just make that up?
Oh,
That's not a lie, gentlemen. That's not a lie.
Awesome stuff. Arthur DiCesare, sportsbook manager, director. Teddy's going to get mad at me at the LINQ. You guys ready for a big couple of weeks?
Yeah, man. This is what we live for, right? These are. I mean, this is the biggest week of the year. If you just look at the 4 days of sports betting, I think it's the best 4 days of sports betting of the year. You know, obviously the Super Bowl has its own cachet and the props and this, that, and the other. But once the game goes, you know, that's it for the Super Bowl, you know, unless you get into in-game and second half. College basketball is beautiful, man. Games start, you know, early in the morning, 9 a.m., go to 9 at night, and you basically get 4 days of that. So this, to me, is the best 4 days of pure sports betting.
now will you do more handle in the 4 days of March Madness than you do in the 4 days leading up to the Super Bowl of the opening weekend of March Madness? I should say, is it more handle, or and obviously there are many more results than the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, one side's going to win and one side's going to lose, and the game's going to go over, it's going to go under. But for total handle, are you doing as much or more for March Madness as you are for the big game, the opening weekend?
Yeah, you know, Teddy, I think on a normal year we'll be pretty close. This year will be interesting to see. Obviously, in the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday aspect of it, you don't have the normal Thursday through Sunday. So did people figure that into their trips? So we'll see. Does the Monday kind of get pushed aside a little bit? So it'll be interesting to see with the new schedule.
Arthur DiCesare, at Art Dice 21, an amazing Twitter follow. Listen, Art, we're going to get into some actionable info for tonight's card as well as March Madness. But most important, before we get into that, what do you guys have planned over there? I mean, is there have you changed up the sports book? Is there any specials going on? Are you giving out any free prop bets? Any cheerleaders? Anything anybody needs to know?
You know, Prez, as I always say, we have one of the best spots to watch games. We have all these fan caves and everything. And, you know, with the capacity being changed from 25% to 50%, you know, that's definitely going to help us. So it's going to be a little bit more crowded than it even was for the Super Bowl. So that's going to be a real bump for us. And we have our 12 fan caves. You can, you know, now put more people in them. We'll have more seats at the bar and this, that, and the other. And there's always promos and specials and this, that, and the other. So it should be nice that, you know, we get that bump up and, we're going to see bigger crowds. So that should be good for us.
Are you getting the sense, Arthur, that this weekend is going to feel like I'm not going to say a regular weekend, but a more normal March Madness type weekend? Is this weekend going to be crazy in Vegas? Because I'm getting the sense around town that there's going to be a lot of people here. It's going to be pretty rowdy as anything since the whole pandemic started. Do you agree?
Yeah, Teddy, I'm definitely getting that sense. And if I just even look what happened for conference tournaments, I mean, there were a lot of people here for the conference tournament. So I think people are really ready for this. And the fact that we didn't have the tournament last year, people are ready to go, man. You know, this is, once again, one of the great sporting events and great gambling events. So I think people are really gearing and ready for this. And the weather's great and all the
Arthur DiCesare, I think we're having a little bit of some issues with his volume or his sound. I don't know. Art, you there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Teddy, drag some actionable info out of this man.
All right. I will. Yeah, let's do it. And let's talk big dance as opposed to NBA or NHL tonight if we have time at the end. We'll talk a little Wednesday night hoops, but people need some big dance picks. I need one, and this is what I asked you, Arthur, when I texted you yesterday. I'm like, I need 2 locks from you for this. I need 1 first-round lock, and I need you to tell me who's going to win the big dance. So go. No pressure.
No pressure at all. Okay. My favorite game in the first round is Liberty. I like Liberty plus 7.5. They are 6th or 7th in the country in shooting threes. I know Oklahoma State played great down the stretch. Cade Cunningham's a great player. but I think Liberty could really be sneaky, and they can be the, the 3 can be the equalizer for them. And, I'm going to go a little chalk here. I think Illinois is going to win the big dance, but I do think Alabama is a nice sleeper at 18-1, and I like them at 4-1 to win the East because I don't believe in Michigan anymore.
Arthur, great stuff on that Liberty pick, and I know that's your sort of pick. Can you give us, a respected wise guy steam move that worries you, or one of the bets that more people you respect are making as well?
Well, obviously the big one this week was Virginia. Virginia opened at 10. It's now sitting at 7. Obviously, Virginia has COVID issues. They have travel issues. They're going to have practice issues. So a lot of people pounced on Ohio really quickly. I've seen some support for Colgate +9. Obviously, Colgate's a team not a lot of people are going to know. They played 15 games this year. They only lost 1. Winthrop is going to be a really popular pick. That's a classic 12-5. UCSB, another classic 12-5 against Creighton. So you start to see a lot of money coming in on those games, and that's why those numbers move, a point, 2 points, even 3 points when you get those, 11-6, 12-5, 13-4 type games.
And do you have a lot of liability on those, Arthur? Is it the story where you guys are actually rooting for the favorites in some of these 5-12 matchups, or the 4-13 matchups, or the 6-11 matchups? Or is that the exception rather than the rule when you're rooting for a favorite? Most of the time, the public wants to lay the chalk, not take the points.
Yeah, Teddy, it's interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Most of the time, the public does want to, take overs and bet favorites, but the NCAA tournament lends itself to upsets. So I think you got to take it game by game. I think Villanova is one of those teams we're really going to be rooting for as a favorite. I have not talked to one person who believes in Villanova is going to cover that spread. So I could see them being a favorite where we're really rooting for Villanova.
Sure. And anytime you have key injuries right before the tournament, whether it's Michigan, whether it's Villanova, no surprise that we're seeing money coming the other way. Anything that you want to talk about in the NBA flowing in the association? Anything stand out to you for Wednesday night hoops?
Teddy, nothing really stands out in the NBA. I will say this, though. When we get into the second half of the NBA, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Phoenix. Phoenix has been hot. They're the 2nd seed. Does Utah keep their run going? And then all these injuries, Embiid, Davis, Miami's starting to play well in the East. And then obviously the Nets with the way Harden's played. So it's going to be interesting to start monitoring some of these teams moving forward in the second half.
Arthur, let's quickly talk some NHL. We find ourselves in this situation almost every night. It's a short revenge night again. Ottawa coming off of a loss to Vancouver. Rangers lost to Philly. Winnipeg lost to Montreal. Edmonton lost to Calgary. San Jose to Vegas. 5 teams in a zigzag. Anything jump out at you?
Prez, the one on that zigzag, I would say, I would take the Rangers. I don't love it, but, the other type of teams I don't like as much. So if I just looked at that one, out of the 5, I would say the Rangers would be a team that I would lean to.
Interesting. Teddy,
and last but not least, Arthur, before we let you go, I want to ask you about the NIT. First, is anyone interested in the NIT? Does anyone bet it? Does it take a whole lot of action? And second, it looks like there's a whole lot of money coming for Toledo and under tonight. Tell me about that.
When I look at the NIT, Teddy, I think the NIT is, first of all, it obviously gets lost in the shuffle, but people are going to look at it and go, oh, there's a couple college games. So maybe that's a parlay builder. They throw a money line in. They just add a team to make it a 3-team parlay. So I think the NIT is going to have that. Does it get a lot of bets, a lot of juice? Not really. But to me, it's going to be a parlay builder moving forward.
And have you seen anything for tonight that rock? We have Toledo, Richmond, and Western Kentucky, St. Mary's. Looks like the money's coming for both the favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once again, that's us saying, people are going to take favorites. So this is not the NCAA tournament, it's the NIT, right? So maybe people aren't leaning towards upsets, So people in the NIT may be more towards, they lean towards more the favorites because it's not the traditional NCAA tournament where you get all these crazy upsets.
Arthur DiCesare, everyone. Arthur, what do you got to promote for us? And also curious, we were talking about soccer and rugby. You guys take a bunch of bets in soccer. Have you noticed it going up?
Yeah, Prez, absolutely. I mean, rugby, not as much, but
yeah,
I definitely get guys in the books every day making soccer bets. Hey, where are the soccer sheets? Where are the soccer sheets? And, they come later in the week. They want to bet the weekend games. They're, the Saturday EPL games. So you definitely see a little bit of rise in soccer, but it's the niche bettors, the guys who bet soccer, they bet soccer. And I know some guys who come into my book, they only bet soccer. They don't even really bet anything else, maybe a little NFL here and there, but those guys are soccer bettors. So yeah, we see a little rise in that soccer betting. And, as far as promoting, it's going to be a crazy busy week. The link's going to be packed. Come down, say hi. If I got a second, I'll give you a little, hey, how's it going? And this, that, and the other. And, it should be a really fun week. So I'm really happy that we're getting this tournament. It's going to be really big for Vegas.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for taking time out of an extremely busy week to join us. We love having you. It's one of my favorite segments. Teddy, it's like his 8th favorite, but still top 10, dude. Still top 10. Get out of here, brother. We're going into the penalty box, everyone. Thanks, Art.
All right, Bryce.
What happened to my music? I didn't hear it. I don't feel inspired. Oh, everyone else heard it. Okay, well, they're inspired because you know what? It's damn fine music. Anyway, guys, gave you 3 plays in the penalty box segment yesterday. I went 2-1. We're going top to bottom. I got about a minute 45 to do it, so let's get straight in. Ottawa playing Vancouver. Ottawa plus 130, Vancouver minus 150, a total of 6. I like the over in this game a lot, and I do like Vancouver. Vancouver was up 2-1 in the last game. Ottawa scored an empty netter, and then Vancouver won in overtime. But Vancouver played terrible last game. We're outshot almost 2-1. I think it switches around. I like Vancouver, and I like the over. Philadelphia and the Rangers, I'm going to tell you flat out, I am passing on this game. I don't like anything to do with this game. Winnipeg and Montreal, I like the over in this game, and I like Winnipeg. Winnipeg, here we have a situation where we need Winnipeg to put up 3, and I think they do. Carey Price has been playing outstanding the last 6 games. I don't think that'll keep going. It's a perfect zigzag. Both teams are very similar. One's going to win, one's going to lose. Montreal won the last game. It's Winnipeg's turn tonight. Edmonton and Calgary, I like the under in this game, and I also like Edmonton, another zigzag scenario where you have 2 teams that are fairly equal, although I think Edmonton is slightly better. Calgary coming off of 3 wins in a row, Edmonton 2 losses in a row. It's a perfect spot for Edmonton to turn it around. I like the Oilers in this game. I love the Vegas Knights here, guys. Vegas owns the San Jose team. I would take them in regulation at minus around 150. I'd also take them at minus 1.5. They beat San Jose 2-1 last game. That is about as good as San Jose could play. They beat them 6 games in a row, 5 games in a row, Vegas over San Jose. And I'm passing on the St. Louis LA game. Teddy, fun show, my brother.
Yeah, as fun as it gets, man. I'm assuming this is going over the air now.
Yeah, did you see the rhythm? The Prez has rhythm. I told you I used to be a break dancer.
I don't like seeing you dance. I don't even like seeing you. Let's wrap it up.
Take us home, baby. I'll take the headphones off.
Absolutely.
I'll just leave. How's that? I'll leave. Bye.
Yeah, by all means. I want to thank Kelly Stewart for hanging out with us today. I want to thank Arthur DiCesare for coming over from the LINQ Race and Sports book. And I want to thank you guys and gals for taking time out of your busy day to hang with us here on WagerTalk Today. We'll be back again tomorrow, 23 hours and 15 minutes from now, breaking down more NBA, NHL, and college hoops. Be sure to check back. WagerTalk Today says, ciao for now. We'll be back again tomorrow. Enjoy the games and good luck.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.